13-time national champion Jordan Zoke swept our opening 2 races at Calabogie Motorsport Park. But a rising star in the Superbike series showed he had what it takes to run with the big dogs. Can rookie Samuel Garand take it to the next level here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park? Hello everyone, and welcome to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park as we get ready for Pro Superbike race number 3. And we welcome back Kenny Reedman as the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers proudly present the 2020 Csbk Series. Brought to you by Suzuki, Way of Life. Yamaha, revs your heart. And BMW Motorrad, make life a ride.
As the field heads out for their solitary warm-up lap, we need to mention the return of Kenny Reedman on that number 42 blue Suzuki, normally used by Trevor Daly, who unfortunately is undergoing COVID quarantine right now.
Well, we certainly welcome back the Speedman, Kenny Reedman on that Suzuki. You know, of course, he is most known for his performances on Triumphs as he was Sport Bike champion, then, of course, moving into the Superbike ranks on Kawasaki. But great to have him back on the grid once more. Incidentally, Colin, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Kenny was able to fit right into Trevor's leathers.
Reedman's first time out on that bike was yesterday. Very little track time because he's been busy with school work, and he seems to have taken to the GSXR without too much adjustment. Here you can see the drying track conditions that have the riders all trying to figure out tire choice. And oh, look at that. Jordan Zoke is heading back to the pits.
He's headed into the pits. So obviously, are they going to do a quick tire change here, or has he got the B-bike ready to go?
Well, we're on board, so let's see what happens. But Zoke definitely has a plan. This is... I don't think this is a coincidence. I think this is something. Yeah, there you can see the other bike.
He's going to start from pit row then.
Yeah, he will have to start from the pit lane after the rest of the field on the track proper is gone. There he is on his backup bike, and of course he hasn't done the warm-up lap on that bike, but it would have been on the tire warmer, so it should be ready. You can see everybody looking for a dry part of the track.
IBEW lights are going all on now as we get very ready for a very dramatic Superbike race here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The lights have gone off, the field is away and running, and it looks like Reedman and Garand. Garand, and there is Sebastian Tremblay. Now, Tremblay, the only rider this weekend to ride both classes. He's riding the Superbike class and in the Sport Bike class, and right now he has that 636 Kawasaki in third spot. Garand is on the move now around the outside. No, that ain't going to happen.
And old Mosport specialist Chris Murray-Audin on his older BMW is in fourth, but look at that. Garand has sliced through into the lead ahead of...
Reedman comes back immediately. Reedman wasted no time at all in the short shoot between 1 and 2, gaining the point once more. But the question was asked earlier on, can Garand run with the big dogs? And I think obviously that question is being answered right now.
And we watched Reedman there going into Moss Corner, and he took an odd line right through the water, so we know for sure Reedman is on rain tires, and early on that should be an advantage. And there's Jordan Zoke at the back of the pack, but he has made his start from the pit lane, so looking to try for another piece of history.
Well, it should be fun to watch him make his way as best he can towards the front, but starting from pit lane, of course, and on cold tires and what have you, he has given up a lot here, Colin, and Reedman is taking full advantage of it.
So Garand in a solid second, briefly led there as, Garand's a little bit wide through that section, so I think we've answered the question. We've got Reedman leading on full wets and Garand second on slicks. If Garand can hang in there and it doesn't rain again, remember we saw a version of this in our Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike race. If things keep playing this way, in theory, Garand is going to be an advantage as the race wears on. You can see it's quite wet there in the middle of turn 1, and Reedman had a very good look over his shoulder, but what he needs to do now is get his head down, take advantage of those wet tires while they still offer an advantage.
Well, we've certainly said it before, and we'll see it again when talking about the shaker Sebastian Tremblay. What an outstanding job he's doing in this Superbike race against those full 200 horsepower Superbikes, and he is right on the back wheel of Garand. And should he pass Garand, Samuel's not going to like that at all.
And right behind fourth place, Chris Murray-Audin is absolutely nothing. This group of four, you can just see Murray-Audin at the back there, is way ahead of the rest of the field, so everybody feeling their way. But also, whoa, look at that, Tremblay moving to second.
Tremblay has passed and moved into second spot.
Makes me think Tremblay's probably on full wets too. But remember, some of the field will have gambled.
There we go. Horsepower territory. The BMW of Garand just gobbling up that Kawasaki sport bike as they head up to underneath the Canadian Tire Bridge. And there we have the speed man, Kenny Riedman, with a comfortable lead at this point.
So a few days ago, he had no idea he was going to be racing here at our national round. And now he's leading on Trevor Daly's Suzuki, doing a fine job on full wets on a drying racetrack. What a comeback for Riedman, who's often shown well at this specific track. Hasn't raced for a year. Of course, no one really has.
We'll be right back as IBEW presents CSBK 2020. Welcome back. We're at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and we are watching the Speedman, Kenny Riedman, on the 42 Suzuki, making his way in through Moss's corner with a sizable lead here in race 3 of the IBEW 2020 season.
And I think that Riedman had another quick look over his shoulder to see what was going on. He may be wondering where the heck Jordan Zoke is. We haven't talked about him since the start. Zoke switched bikes, started at the back of the field from the pit lane, and I guess he's looking to make history, and we're going to have to look at the gap soon to see when Zoke's tire choice, whatever it is, starts to pay off, if indeed it does. And there you go. Yeah, they're okay. There's Jordan Zoke, and he's catching up to Elliot Vieira's Yamaha. So I think we're about 5th or 6th. I don't know if you caught the position there, Frank.
Yeah, it was 5th position, as a matter of fact. Zoke was in 6th. Vieira was in 5th at that point in time. And Vieira, another one of the riders on a sport bike. He is mounted on the Yamaha 600 out of Snow City in Toronto.
Now here's a rider who you could argue at times hasn't received the attention he is due in the series, but no, he's not going to get it this time.
Chris Murray-Audin on the 265 bike. That's that veteran you were speaking about earlier. It looks like he has had mechanical difficulties. He is coasting silently down that pit wall.
There's second place Garand, and hopefully, okay, so now we're going to have another crack as usual. We get interrupted when it comes time to talk about Tremblay. He has shown very, very well in both the Liqui Pro Sport bike class on his Kawasaki 636 Ninja, the bike we're watching him on now. And of course, last year here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, he was on a full-blown 1000cc Ninja. So Tremblay, a regular at the front, regardless of the class and the bike. But this effort here on a wet track, when he's giving away a significant amount of displacement and therefore horsepower at a track where this part we're on now, the uphill back straight, really requires maximum horsepower, shows you just how well Tremblay is riding, and he's been our most consistent performer.
And Zoke has gathered up here. Zoke has moved now into 4th spot, and that puts him in a possible podium position. Now, having said that, we look ahead of Zoke, and he's got a long way to go.
The question is, and you can see there that Tremblay's sliding around a bit. The track's still wet, maybe just a bit greasy as it starts to dry, and some sections are drier than others. Here you can see on the pavement seams it's wet, but right on the entrance to turn 10, our last corner, Tremblay looking for that dry line. We believe Tremblay is on the wet Dunlops. We're not sure what's going on with Zoke. But see, Zoke is close enough now. He can see Tremblay, and that's always the big motivator. You can see ahead. Of course, Tremblay has his red rain light on, as everyone should, because the track was damp when we started. So that's going to be important for Zoke. Now this is again the leaders, and you can see we're pretty much equal distant. No real battles playing out right now. But look at the lap times there. Zoke is now right on the pace of leader Riedman. So here we are, less than halfway, Frank, and it's starting to come to Zoke.
Yeah, and Garand's going to have to dig deep if he wants to get down from the 133s into the 31s. That's a certainty. The shaker now working his way through turn number 2. That's or turn number 4, I should say. And Colin, that's a really daunting downhill left-hander.
Yep, and Tremblay showing, well, Mr. Consistency here, and Zoke is chasing him hard. And look at how much he's gaining. Look at Zoke changing up the lines. So that makes me think at least one of the tires on Jordan's bike is a wet tire, because he's looking for wet spots to keep that tire cool.
I don't know if this would be in the category of a career ride, but this has really been something to watch Jordan Zoke come from very last and to work his way up this far, this fast. And he is all over Tremblay right now. wisely not making any moves going into turn number 8. He'll probably gather them up before they head into 3 next time round.
Zoke having a good look at Tremblay. This is for 3rd spot. Of course, he's on the march after the start from the pit.
Oh, a moment there for Zoke as he comes out of 9 rather. Looks to the inside of Tremblay. Nothing to be had there.
There we see Tremblay taking that same line that worked so very well for him when he won our Liquid Moly Pro Sport Bike race. But now Jordan, nice and easy, using the advantage in displacement there between the two ninjas. 1,000 for Zoke versus the 636 that Tremblay's using. Here's the replay, and you can see that it's nice and easy. He pulls out of the draft. Tremblay holds the traditional line. He's on the brake, sliding just a bit on the rain tires, and Zoke just steams up the inside on the edge of that old pavement patch.
And Tremblay not even giving him the honor of a glance over. Tremblay was absolutely focused on his line going into 1 as Zoke made that pass to move up into 3rd spot. Now he sets his sights on Garand.
Fastest lap of the last lap. That's Zoke clearly the fastest now, so he's coming fast. And one of the problems here, Zoke's after Garand. There's a bit of a gap, but Garand needs to get going after Riedman, or else he's going to miss his opportunity. Because don't forget, we believe that Garand is on slicks front and back, so the track conditions are coming to him fast.
Yet the track is drying up very, very quickly. There's a beautiful shot of Garand on that BMW making his way up the back straightaway. Zoke tucked in, classic Jordan Zoke, trying to make up that distance.
Now, I believe Zoke has won from dead last. I remember that happened, I think, in 2003 at Csbk when he was involved in a first lap crash, picked the bike up, and actually managed to win.
Wow.
But as far as starting from the pit lane to win, if that is indeed possible, that has never been done in CSBK, but of course, we've only been doing this for 40 years.
I'm surprised that Jordan, well, I shouldn't be surprised with the amount of experience he's had, but he was able to sort out the motorcycle he wanted to ride within that 1 warm-up lap. Let's take a quick break now as the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers presents CSBK 2020. Welcome back, race fans, to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We're watching the speed man, Kenny Riedman, on the 42 Suzuki, leading this championship race. In tow is Samuel Garand on the BMW and the Kawasaki of Jordan Zoke.
That Jordan Zoke guy, boy, he has some experience, huh? We're not sure exactly what he's doing in setup. He switched bikes. We know that engine builder Scott Miller has some differences between the two motorcycles in terms of their performance. However, I don't think Zoke switched because of engine spec. Although, of course, there's some programmable aspects that may be different. I think it's tire choice, and we think Jordan's running some kind of mix and match thing here. In front is Riedman, who built a lead on wets, and right on top of Riedman now is... Okay, here we go. So Zoke has a rain tire on the front and a soft slick on the rear. Dunlop has confirmed everybody's tire choice. So, Frank, I got to tell you, there is no precedent for that setup. This is Zoke racing by the seat of his pants, using all of his experience. He made a last-minute choice. He went out on this bike with no warm-up on that bike, on a drawing track with an unbelievably weird set of tires that you wouldn't think could work. And of course, right now, Garand on slicks would seem to be the guy in the perfect position, but the problem is Zoke with confidence. You can see how hard he's riding, coming fast, and I'm worried Garand here is biding his toe.
Oh, there's a moment for Riedman. I was about to say that Riedman's tires may be going away, and if that is the case, Samuel Garand has taken full advantage of it. He now leads this championship race, Colin, and there's not that many laps to go.
And Riedman had another slide there at the bottom of the 2. I don't think that Garand was planning to pass, but this could be the best thing for this race and for the chances of Garand to take his first ever podium as a victory, because now he's in front. He knows he needs to get going. What he doesn't know is how close Zoke is and how Zoke is coming so fast. Riedman, though, on those tires, you're absolutely right, Frank. I think they're going away. Those rain tires are cooked, and he's hanging on by his fingernails.
And Riedman had a long look at Zoke as they were headed into turn number 2. He had his head turned around for a long time, trying to figure out where Zoke was. You could see him stepping out a bit there also, coming out of 5C. That back tire, I suspect, is getting very close to slick.
Well, when Trevor Daly gets a chance to watch this race, he will know that Riedman rode as hard as he could. He did not do a bad job of demonstrating the GSXR's prowess here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And look at this. This 4 laps to go. The top 3 are right together.
Oh, it looked like Riedman was going to dive bomb him there. He had to look to the inside there. I don't know what he expected to accomplish.
And Riedman has been sideways a lot over the last lap, so you've got to admire his effort. But here comes Zoke, and we know Zoke loves to pass on the left on the way up the hill, and he's setting it up again.
Is he ever? He's uncorking it right now. Boom, done. Riedman is down to third.
Not much drama. Let's watch it in slow-mo. Okay, this is great on board. The Suzuki in second, and there goes Jordan on that wide line that he's used over and over and over again frequently to take the lead, and Guerin here with less than a second lead over Zoke, and probably his pit board didn't tell him that because things happened so quickly over the last lap. 2 passes for position in basically 8 corners.
Samuel Guerin must be a bundle of nerves right now. Here he is leading this national championship Superbike race. He's got the pit signals. He knows full well where he sits in this race, and it's going to be very interesting indeed to see how this rookie pro deals with this 13-time national Superbike champion.
Guerin nice and smooth, but Zoke, the body language tells you everything you need to know. He's coming fast.
Wow.
But look at this BMW is not slow, and Zoke is working hard to take the lead.
And he has taken the lead, as a matter of fact. No, he hasn't. Guerin comes right back. What a beauty move by that youngster. He has shown he's got the gumption. Talk about Zoke for a moment. We know he's got a slick on the back. That's going to wear out too.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is Guerin looked over at Zoke and was very late on the brakes there at turn 8. So I love it that Guerin isn't giving this up. I still think Zoke's coming. There we see the running order. Michael Leon, who is way back, has made his way up to 4th. Vieira in 5th, and we'll be back at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for our thrilling completion.
Portions of this event are brought to you by Kawasaki, Pro 6 Cycle Track Days, MotorcycleCourse.com, and Revs for Rent, CSBK's official charity. We are back at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and we are working the last few laps. As a matter of fact, the last 2 laps of this national champion Superbike race. Coming into turn 3 right now, is Samuel Guerin on the BMW. He is leading this contest, and he is leading the 101 of Canada General Warranty sponsored Jordan Zoke. They're heading into turn 4, Colin.
Guerin leading down through the chute with 4 or 5 bike lengths over our top gun in history for Canadian Superbike. Guerin never been on a podium, never won a pro national in his 3rd ever pro national in his rookie season. So this is going to be history in some regard, but Zoke starting from pit lane is likely to also be history in some regard. The question is who wins it as Zoke pulls out to try and make a move.
They were perfectly side by side, but Zoke has taken the lead now. Zoke all the way from last place, a pit row start, and Jordan Zoke has launched himself into the lead. Easy to see how he has become 13-time champion. Mr. Fraser.
Heading into turn 9 here. Guerin nice and smooth. Everybody looking for the dry line, because although this track has been drying steadily throughout, and of course Kenny Riedman started on reins, he's way back in 3rd now. Look at Guerin doing a wheelie, glancing over to the pit wall. Of course, everything he needs to know is right in front of him with less than a lap to go. So the question is, can Guerin make history and take the win?
He looked back. That's not a good thing to do. Pay attention to the man in front of you, Samuel. Samuel Guerin following Jordan Zoke down in through turn number 2. There's a short chute here now that'll take us up to the right-hander that is Quebec corner. And Guerin continues to hold on to 2nd spot. He is wearing the wheel tracks. I think I know what he's going to do, Colin. I think what his game plan is the back straightaway.
Of course, that makes sense, but I'm not sure he has enough performance. His bike is close to Zoke's Fast Company Kawasaki, but maybe not quite there. But we can also see that Jordan is riding really hard, and he has worked his way up through the field. It's an incredible performance, and now we just have 3 or 4 turns to go, but the crucial dyno up the back straight.
Absolutely outstanding performance by Jordan Zoke. Onto the back straight the way they go, and Guerin is in a perfect position. He's got to get into that soft air and get a bit of a toe, get hoovered right up into the lead, but no, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Guerin wisely, and of course he's got to bring it home upright. He goes around the outside, looks to the inside line of turn number 9. Has he done it? No, the door has been closed as Zoke closes it. He'll have another look in 10. No, not quite enough room to get it done, but congratulations to Samuel Guerin for a great ride. He wheelies right up the front straightaway, and he has captured 2nd place in this national championship Superbike race. Great
Jordan
ride
Zoke,
by both.
His 3rd victory of the season, perfect so far. He's had 3 perfect seasons in his career. Look at the top 2 celebrating. I think we're going to see more of those 2.
Suits me.
Now let's have a look at our results, because things got a little focused on the top two those last few laps. Riedman, a very impressive third in his debut on the Suzuki. Leon climbing from outside the top 10 to fourth. Vieira, the top 600. Two Yamaha R1s in the top 8 here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Let's hear from our winner, Jordan Zook.
I've never started from pit lane, at least on purpose, in a race. And right before the race, we had two bikes. We're lucky. We had one set up for slicks and one set up for rains, and a completely different setup with the suspension. And on the warm-up lap, I felt that it was too wet. So I came in, jumped on the rain bike that had the rain front and the slick rear, and I thought, you know what? Anybody on the rain, I seen that Kenny on the warm-up lap was on full rains. I'm like, at the end of the race, if it stays drying, he won't be there. And you go backwards so fast, but the front will be okay. And it worked out, just experience. And, you know, at the end of the race, the front was feeling better than the rear, to be honest with you. I burned up the rear, just being aggressive with it. And the front felt pretty good at the end.
The first time on Friday, I was riding with Jordan. I went on track and he came on my side, like after 2 corners. So I said, oh, okay. Let's do this. Let's do some track day fun. Like, we did about 4 or 5 laps, and then he did, oh, there's someone like following me. But just the excitement of being like in front of that guy, and he's letting me go. And so I knew that if I was going to be in the front with everyone on the line, it would be a very mental game, like to keep calm and to keep my focus on the track and not. So yeah, it was really hard. Yesterday night, just sleeping, I thought about taking the lead, and my heart, like, yeah, it's exciting.
Trevor gave me a call on Tuesday, shortly after he found out he wasn't able to ride, and asked if I wanted to race. And I was in school when I got the call, and I said, you know what? Let me think about it. I'll give you a call tonight, because really my focus is on schooling right now. It's only 3 months of my life, and then I'm going to be done with it. I hung up the phone with him, and about 5 minutes later, I just decided, screw it. And I texted him, I'm in, let's do it. And got to thank my dad. He went down, and I guess they had to social distance and everything, so Trevor pushed all the stuff outside the shop, and my dad showed up with the trailer and loaded it by himself, and they were spraying stuff, and absolutely crazy times we're living in right now. But yeah, I mean, Trevor built an amazing superbike. That Suzuki Gixxer 1000 is just phenomenal. I didn't turn a single clicker on it all weekend. I felt comfortable right off the bat. Like, just showed up Saturday, limited track time, 15-minute sessions. Felt at home, and to be able to get up to speed in a 15-minute practice session. I think my first session I was way off the pace, and second session I was right there with the boys. So it just goes to show how good of a bike builder that Trevor is, and how amazing of a platform that Suzuki is for me to just be able to hop on it. And I was comfortable right away, and even Trevor's leathers fit me really good.
Our podium then from race number 3 of 2020, with Kenny Riedman in 3rd spot on the Suzuki, making a return to CSBK. His first podium finish for Samuel Goran on the BMW, and of course on top of the box, after starting from pit row and working his way right the way through the pack, Jordan Zook. Thanks for watching as IBEW presents CSBK 2020.